Hey, Lawrence James here. Welcome to my channel. Now, you've probably heard the advice, right? Cut toxic people out of your life. Okay, sounds simple enough, but have you ever actually tried doing it? Have you ever tried to leave someone who manipulated you and treated you terribly and still found yourself going back to them? Then you know it's not that simple. And it's all down to something that I call the phone line effect. And so in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what that is, and more importantly, why it's so hard to cut toxic people out of your life. Quick cliff note here, we're not talking about people just being a bit mean or argumentative. Just because somebody treated you badly doesn't automatically mean that they were a toxic narcissist. Those words are so batted around nowadays that the meaning has become almost diluted. And that's not what we're talking about here. No, what I'm talking about is the real thing. Long-term, committed relationships that leave you feeling drained, isolated, completely exhausted, and seriously wondering who you even are anymore. Okay, so let's get into it. I was married for 3 years. And when I look back now, especially towards the end part of the relationship, there were so many times that I should have said, I can't do this anymore. We're going to have to end it. But what I did say was, I'm going to hold on to the very end. But perhaps if I had known this back then, I might have cut the cord a little earlier. There is no end. See, I was 100% focused on how much I'd already invested in the outcome of that relationship. And the more you invest, the more you have to lose, right? So even when your head knows it's over, but the heart just keeps dialing you back in, it's not because you were not brave enough. It's because it really feels like you're just losing something that you love. But here's the thing. You can't lose something you never had. Let me put it to you like this, okay? Imagine you're on hold with customer service. You're sitting there, you're waiting, and you've got that really annoying voice that says, "Your call is important to us." And the longer you wait, the more frustrating and the worse it feels. But you still don't hang up. Why? Because you believe that any minute now, they're going to pick up the phone. And it will all have been worth it. You've waited this long, haven't you? It has to be worth it now, right? And so you stay on hold. Otherwise, the whole thing would have been for nothing. And then you'll just have to dial back in again and start the process from scratch. And this is exactly what happens in a toxic relationship. You're probably quite familiar with the pattern by now. Everything feels amazing at the start, and you let your mind run away with you, and you start creating this wonderful vision of the future, the perfect family, a beautiful home, promotions, money, escape from your mundane 9-to-5 reality. Whatever it is, you just know that your life trajectory seems so much brighter with them in the picture. And so you pour yourself into this vision. And so when things start turning sour, you cling onto it because you're so deeply invested. I went back at least 3 times, and it was always because I hoped that things were just going to get better. What I didn't think about was actually pretty obvious now. The longer you stay on hold, the more emotional credit you invest, and the more it seems you have to lose. There's actually a pretty neat bit of psychology that backs this up as well. So you've got 2 types of motivators. These are the engines that drive everything that we do. First, there are approach motivations. These are the things that pull us towards the things that we want. Then there are avoidance motivators. These are the things that push us away from the things that we don't want. The closer you are to a threat or to something bad, the more worried or scared you're going to feel. The closer you get to escape or towards something good, the more happiness, joy, and relief you're going to feel. And you're caught oscillating between the two, always caught somewhere in the middle. And the reason there's no resolution? Because you haven't hung up yet. You're still on hold. So let me ask you something real quick. When you broke up, did you immediately start feeling better? Like you'd purged some toxic chemical from your bloodstream? Probably not. In fact, you probably feel worse because you feel much closer to that anti-goal, the threat, the fear of losing that dream. See, your investment has tanked, and now you feel like you're just losing everything. But when it comes to a toxic relationship, it wasn't a future you invested in, It was a pyramid scheme. It's the more you imagine, the more you appear to lose. So what if I told you they were never going to pick up the phone? What if the life you imagined having is not possible through them? That doesn't mean it's never going to happen, by the way. It's you that has to build it. And you can't do that if you're still on hold. So you might be thinking, okay, Lawrence, that's all well and good, but how do I actually hang up? Okay, the way I see it, there are two things in your way. One, you're still holding on to the hope that things are going to get better. And they will, just not through them. You have to completely give up hope that they are ever going to make good on the promises they made at the start of the relationship. That they're going to change, that things are going to get better. Now, I'm not saying that you should give up on your dreams, but I am saying that you need to give up on relying on them to make them happen. They're never going to pick up. The second one is one that I found really hard to come to terms with because I was in the relationship for 3 years. I put everything into trying to make that work, trying to justify the emotional credit that I'd already sunk into the relationship. So the important bit here is that it's not them that you miss. It's the idea of them. Okay? And as long as you're still on the line, you're just going to be investing more and more into a call they're never going to answer. You're never going to get that time or that investment back. But a positive way to look at it, you have an almost infinite supply of attention, energy, and focus. This is the stuff that you need in order to start getting better. Think about it. You go to bed every night, you get full 8 hours sleep, and you wake up the next morning with enough energy to last the entire day. And you have what, perhaps another 40, 50, 60 years left? That's a lot of life currency right there. Because what is lost is also replenished. Because it's not about getting it back. It's about redirecting what you have left back into you. So stop spending your emotional credit putting your life on hold and start cashing it into living a life on your own terms. And sometimes all it takes is a really simple shift in perspective. So I want you to try something for me. I want you to make 2 lists. The first is a list of all of the things that you will lose if you never speak to or see this person ever again. The second is a list of all the things you would gain if you never saw or spoke to this person again. And I guarantee you'll see an immediate shift in the flow of energy and control back into you. Now, as you're doing this, I do want you to remember that your freedom is infinitely more valuable than your stuff. Stuff can be replaced. Your freedom can't. Live by design, not by default. Now, I do hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please go ahead and click the like button. It's a really quick and easy way to let me know what sort of content I should be creating more of. And if you're serious about recovering from narcissistic abuse and living a life on your own terms, then hit the subscribe button. I'll be creating plenty more videos in the future. So I want to thank you so much for watching. I do wish you the best in your discovery and your recovery, and I hope to speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.